This meeting is being recorded.
Awesome. So I want to thank everybody for showing up, the neighbors here in Livonia and nearby communities. I want to thank the Greenleaf Commission, represented by Jim Beringhouse, the chair of the Livonia Commission, of course. And then I want to thank our guests for the evening. So we have from Distributed Power, we have Brandon Knight and Jack, who will talk at the tail end to go over some general questions, maybe be available to set up some consultations with individual homeowners on this call. But to kick things off, we have John Freeman. He is the leader of the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association. He will give a brief overview of the benefits of having residential solar. Very informative presentation for those who are still on the fence and trying to learn more about solar for their homestead. So with that, take it away, John.
Okay, I'm going to open up my screen share and see if I can figure this out. And I'm not figuring it out. Megan, where is it?
The PowerPoint?
Yeah.
I sent you the updated one in your email this morning.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to share it with the green share content button on the bottom.
Yeah, but it's all right. Oh, I don't see it. Hold on, folks. Okay, we're going to go to plan B on this one. Okay, first of all, I'm John Freeman. Thank you very much. I'm with the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association. I really apologize for not being able to show you the PowerPoint. If anybody would like to see it after I'm done, you know, I can send it to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our program, talk a few basics about solar, and then we're going to turn it over to Brandon Knight and Jack, who is with Distributed Power Solar. And they're going to explain from the point of view of the installer, the process from which to get solar. And if anybody has any questions, I think probably you can ask during my presentation, because I think probably your questions might be questions that other people might have. And so I first just want to mention what GLREA is. And we are, first of all, a nonprofit organization, and we primarily do education work. We want to educate homeowners and small business about the benefits of solar in terms of how you can save money by investing in a solar energy system over continuing to buy electricity from, in this case, you know, DTE. But there are also environmental benefits to also having solar. And by installing your own solar system, you're able to do your part in reducing carbon pollution by generating clean, you know, solar energy, which doesn't emit any kind of pollution as coal or natural gas does. So there are lots of benefits to solar, and that's why we're really excited about this program that we're talking about tonight. One of the challenges is that every year, Detroit Edison, DTE, they raise their rates almost on a yearly basis. And so as a result, it's really difficult for business and homeowners to be able to really plan ahead for what your electrical costs will be. But the one thing you can plan on is that your rates are going to continue to go up. And so this is why that we encourage folks to get solar. And I have a chart, which unfortunately you can't see, but the rates have gone up consistently year after year. And currently right now, DTE is asking for another rate increase. And they're allowed by law. Megan, you're wonderful. Can everybody see Megan's screen?
Yes.
Terrific. Okay. Thank you very much, Megan. You can see from this chart that the rates have gone up considerably.
Okay, yeah.
Alex, I'm going to put you on mute here. And so this is a really great illustration about how it's difficult for homeowners and business to plan ahead with the rates keep going up dramatically. And so, the great thing about solar is once you install the system, you know exactly, when you install it, how much it's going to cost. And then you know how much energy it's going to produce. And you will know how long it will take approximately to pay off your system. But once you pay off your system, then you are going to essentially get free electricity, because as Brandon and Jack will testify in a few minutes, that solar panels are warranted for 25 years. So once you pay off your system, and it may be 8 or 9 years or so, that you're essentially going to get free electricity for the next 15 years or so. But the panels don't stop producing electricity at 25 years. They will continue, but they're only warranted for 25 years, which is still fantastic. And the other thing to keep in mind about understanding the economics of installing solar is that, like I said, you can calculate how much you will save by installing solar right now versus what you'll end up paying for DTE. But as time goes on and DTE's rates keep going up, your costs are going to stay flat, whereas the cost to your neighbors are going to continue to increase. So you're going to save even more money over time. And that is one of the great financial benefits of investing in a solar system. Megan, why don't you turn to the next slide? Now you can see from this map of Michigan, one of the interesting phenomena is that some people don't think we have enough sun in Michigan to have an effective solar system, but that's not the case at all. As you can see from this map, you can see from the chart, that on average, Michigan has, 4 to 4.25, solar sun hours per day, which is pretty darn good. And if we had a broader map of other states and other countries, you will see that Michigan is right smack in the middle. One classic example that I always mention is the nation of Germany. Germany has undergone a tremendous investment in solar energy, but they actually have less sun hours per day than Michigan does. And so even though in the winter times it seems that it's very cloudy, but overall, on average, over the course of a year, that Michigan does quite well in terms of its solar potential. Next slide. So let me just talk for a few minutes about the Solarize program. This is a program that the city of Ann Arbor first pioneered. And what's wonderful about that is that Distributed Power has actually worked with Julie Roth of the Solarize Ann Arbor program. And so this solar installer, this business, Brandon Knight and Jack, they're very experienced in this program. What we have done is we've taken the Ann Arbor program and we've made a few tweaks, and we're exporting it all over the state of Michigan to set up similar Solarize programs. And essentially, this is an educational group buy opportunity where we want to bring people together like tonight who are interested in potentially investing in a solar system. We want to educate them about the benefits of solar, which I've already talked about. And then, of course, we want to have a solar business installer, Brandon and Jack, explain the process from which to get solar. The whole goal is to inform people about what is the process from which to get solar. And so this is the educational part of the program. But the real benefit of this program is that if enough people decide to purchase solar within a reasonably short period of time, the program is able to offer a group buy discount. So for instance, on this chart, if 3 or more people tonight or the next week or so decide to get solar, it's my understanding that distributed power will provide a 5% discount off the cost of installing solar. If we can get 7 or more, then we can even get a greater discount of 10% or more. The goal, of course, is to try and reduce the cost of installing solar as much as possible. The benefits, of course, to a solar installer is that we're able to help them get some new clients quickly, so they save money in having to reduce marketing costs, and they're able to save money by installing multiple solar systems in around the same time period within the same general vicinity within the city of Livonia. And so this is a great benefit for them. So it's a tremendous win-win because, again, we are able to offer discounts for people interested in buying solar. And from the point of view of the business, they're able to install solar at lesser cost to them. And so they get some new clients and everybody is happy with this arrangement. But the one thing I do want to emphasize, which is the bottom bullet point, is that even though we recommend distributive solar for doing this work, and we think they're a terrific company, if anybody on this call still wants to pursue getting solar installed by another business, they're more than welcome to. We're not twisting anybody's arm. It's just that GLREA, the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association, we've had great success with Brandon Knight. We think he's runs a terrific business. And so we want to help expedite this process by bringing to potential clients a great business that installs solar, that does great work, and they stand by their work. Next slide. So the only other thing I really want to mention this evening is that we're able to do this program with the help of the city of Livonia and the city officials, as well as individuals within Livonia that are really passionate about solar. And I want to thank Jim Beringhouse and Brian Weiss of the Greenleaf Commission for helping us bring this program together, because the way we try and market this program is that we want to bring people together that have a real interest in potentially buying a solar system. And so we want to work with groups within cities, in this case, the Greenleaf Commission within the city of Livonia, but we also want to work with local city officials, because many cities now, they're interested in promoting renewable energy within their community because they understand the importance of transitioning away from fossil fuels to clean renewable energy. So lots of cities are undergoing their own educational program to develop sustainability programs to promote renewable energy. And the Solarize program is a part of that process. And so we want to thank the city of Livonia for working with GLREA and of course the Greenleaf Commission for putting this on. But we also want to invite individuals that are also passionate about solar, because we hope to have more meetings like this within Livonia. And so if there anybody that's attending this program tonight that would like to develop a subsequent meeting where you want to invite your friends or your family members or colleagues that are not on tonight's meeting, but you think they might be interested in learning about the Solarize program and ultimately, hopefully interested in getting solar, we would love to work with you to set up another meeting for residents or small business within Livonia. This is the key part of the Solarize program, is that we want to build it upon relationships that people have, and we want to tap into the passion of individuals who want to help spread the word about the benefits of solar and also how people can purchase solar at lesser cost. And I guess the one final thing is that let's go back to slide 9, Megan. GLREA is also working with local units of government to help them to be able to market solar and to help them to be able to support solar businesses even easier than they currently are. One way of doing this is that we're working to make the solar permitting process even easier than it currently is. And so we're going to be encouraging cities to adopt new processes for processing solar permits. There's a new software that's available at the Department of Energy that we're going to be encouraging cities to use. So this is a part of our effort to work with cities to help them to be able to support the expansion of solar within the city of Livonia. So that's it for my presentation at this point. I told Brian that we're going to keep this short because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions from anybody that's attending this. So if anybody has any initial questions about what I've talked about so far, feel free to raise your hand. I actually have one other point I want to make that I want to be clear, is that there's another great reason why we encourage people, if you're interested in getting solar, you really should try and get it this year, because there's also a federal income tax credit that's available for anybody that installs solar this year. It's currently at 26%. And what that means is that no matter how big a system you end up investing in purchasing for your home or your small business, you can literally multiply that by 26%, 0.26, and that amount, that whatever amount that is, that you can reduce the amount of income taxes you owe the federal government by the exact same amount. In other words, this is a tax credit. It's not a tax deduction. A tax credit means that you literally reduce the amount of taxes you owe the federal government. And so when you calculate the cost of installing solar, let's say, for instance, let's just take a figure of $12,000. You'll multiply that by 26%. And so the real cost of installing solar is not going to be 12,000. It's going to be more like around 9 or 10. And then, of course, the other 26% is a reduction in your federal income taxes that you have to pay. And if for some reason you can't utilize that total amount to reduce your taxes this tax year, whatever is left over, you can apply to next year to use up that tax credit portion that you're able to utilize by multiplying 26% times the total cost of your system. And the reason why we encourage people to do this year is that as of January 1st, at least at this point in federal law, this tax credit is going to go down. And so, there is talk at the federal level to bringing it back to 30%, which is what it was a couple of years ago. But currently it's at 26%, and it will go down to, I think, 22% as of January 1st. So if you really want to maximize the utilization of this federal tax credit, this is the year to really move forward and to get solar. So with that, are there any questions at this point by anybody on this call?
Yes, sir. Your name was John.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The GLREA, what did that stand for again?
It stands for the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association. We are a nonprofit organization. We've been around in Michigan over 31 years now. And we are essentially a membership organization that is all about educating and promoting the expansion of renewable energy in Michigan. We do a lot of education work. Then we also try and enact policies in Lansing with the Public Service Commission, as well as the Michigan legislature, to support policy changes that support the expansion of renewable energy, mainly solar and geothermal energy, to help transition this in Michigan.
Okay, thank you. I probably should have said my name when I spoke up. I apologize. Todd Roberts.
Well, thank you, Todd. And thank you very much for your question. It's a great question. And if anybody would like to become a member of GLREA, we would encourage that as well. Jim, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, John. I just wanted to point out one example to the group. We've all heard about the Livonia Vision 21 Master Plan. Well, you're seeing it in action tonight, because one of the key objectives of the plan falls under sustainability and resiliency. And in that instance, the plan really wants the city to begin focusing on committing to mitigating the city's climate change impacts, including reducing energy, water consumption, items like this. So tonight, this is a living, breathing example of it, where we have a group of enthusiastic Livonia residents who are interested in a new form of energy for the city that's going to reduce greenhouse gases within the community. So just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Sounds great. Any other questions? I see a gentleman with T. Is that Todd? Who?
It is, sir. The company that is going to be speaking about installation, that was Distributed Power Solar.
Yes, it is.
And you said Great Lakes Renewable is a nonprofit. Is there any relationship between Distributed Power and Great Lakes other than the fact that you guys have kind of worked with them before and trust them? I guess I'm just making sure that there's no bias as far as a business interest.
There's no bias, but I will state that Distributed Power is a member of GLREA. We are a trade association of businesses that install solar, and then we also have individuals that are members of GLREA. But
Okay.
we only allow, frankly, business members into GLREA that we have tremendous respect for and that have a track record of providing good service in Michigan. There is another organization called Michigan Saves, which provides financial support for people to install solar. And they vet all solar installers in the state of Michigan so that they only offer their financial services on behalf of people that utilize businesses that have been properly vetted by Michigan Saves. And Distributed Power has been vetted by Michigan Saves and it's a top-ranked business in Michigan. So even though there is a relationship with us, we stand totally behind Brandon Knight and Distributed Power as being a terrific company. And you don't have to take my word for it. There's, Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Solarize Program has utilized Distributed Power, and they have a great reputation.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's another hand up. Zobel MacBook. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name's Peter. My PC crashed, and that's just the name of my wife's PC. So two things. One, and maybe you'll get into this with the other presentation. I'm curious to see some examples of what kind of power folks in Michigan get, in our area with solar panels, and how that, how good that is at generating things. And then the second thing is my take on what your company does. You're kind of what I'm trying to say, a trade association, right? I mean, you represent other companies that are in, just like auto companies are in one, or other things like that. So, I mean, I think the membership thing isn't necessarily, nefarious like people could think or whatever. And I like that you said there's the Michigan Saves thing that does some kind of vetting. That'll be good to check out.
No, that's exactly right, Peter. We've been around a long time, and we are all about promoting solar in the state of Michigan. And so one of the things we take very seriously is the reputation within the solar industry. There are some other companies in Michigan that install solar that we don't want to have members of our association, because some of their practices, business practices, we think are less than appropriate, and they're not particularly transparent about their operation. But we've never. Distributed Power is incredibly transparent.
No, that's fine. I understand what you were saying about them. I was just, because I hadn't understood that before until you mentioned something, and I just looked it up that, you have membership and all that kind of thing. But that was the way I understood it, that kind of an association for the companies. But yes, you also do some vetting. So, yeah.
Sounds great.
But you're not yourselves involved in that. I understand. Yeah.
No, that's right. We do not. We, as an organization, we are not in the business of installing solar. But why don't we?
I'll let you go on the rest of it. Yeah.
Why don't we transition to Brandon Jack talking about their business and how they work? What is the process from which individuals or small business can get solar. And I'll turn it over either to Brandon or Jack, and you guys decide who you would like to talk about the process.
I can go first. Doesn't look like Brandon. Yeah? No?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So Jack Droz, sales director over at Distributed Power. Been with the company going on 4 years now, and started as an installer. Now, really, I think important background for me was that I came here with the intention of initially being a sales rep. Did have a background in both sales and in install for, various different residential trades. The reason why I think that's important is because, the install background is essential to what I bring to my sales process every single day. And, John had mentioned previously that we are working with Julie Roth quite a bit in Ann Arbor and quite a few homeowners out there. The board behind me is all, 3x5 note cards of names of the people that I'm running through my current Ann Arbor Solarize program. And we've got it down to, a science with this system. This is our 4th round of doing that. And, you've heard me mention that if you've been on the meeting for a little bit longer, but really our process is super motivated by the, design build element of solar, and also informed by the fact that you have a specific financial situation, and that's going to dictate what your needs are. Transparency, flexibility, those are the things that we are really able to bring to a relationship. And it's because of, a subject matter expertise that we're really proud of over here at Distributed Power. Not every single solar situation or, solar array is going to make sense for your specific house. There are general things that obviously on this meeting, we'd love to be able to get into the details of. In the interest of time, if it does tend to be a more specific question, when we get out to your property, when we do these initial meetings, this is something that, we'll address. So just to kind of give you the rundown, lay of the land of what happens after this meeting. I'm going to, right now, I'm going to send in my info into the group chat. This is my email address. This is our overall sales email address. So either of those, are available for you to be able to reach out to me and my team. Generally, the first, step of our process is obviously we need your email address. One thing that we do need before we have an initial meeting is your utility bill. The reason why is because for a couple of reasons, we will be designing a system that is based on your current consumption. We do a digital render, and that shows us what the production that is available on site is. Sometimes that's way more than what you consume. Sometimes it's not more. And that is going to be based on the faces of the roof. That's going to be based on trees and obstructions that are in the area. That's going to be based on, a lot of different variables. What we do initially is once I have your email address, I send out, and I've just done this for all of my customers out of Ann Arbor. I send out a link to my calendar. You're able to schedule directly onto my calendar, set up an event with me. We, on that meeting, basically set aside 45 minutes for, us to take all your consumption, input that into our system, then design your property and do that together, where we're able to set up how many solar panels we want on the roof, and what is allowed based on the utility provider. There is a cap on how much power you can have. So we're conscientious of all of that, and we can get into those, your specific needs and what our parameters are with our knowledge base, and apply that directly to your property. Following, during that meeting, we're able to go into the pricing. We're able to go into all of the add-ons, certain components like, batteries and other electrical upgrades that we're able to offer to our customers. And in a standardized way, I have a lot of leave behind documents that I'll be able to give you after that meeting, in conjunction with the very specific site assessment that we will create together. From that meeting, you're able to get another link. Then we set up a site visit and make sure that everything that was designed is practical, is real, and actually possible. There is a price structure that we have been working with out of Ann Arbor, and it is structured in such a way as to account for this group buy. However, there are anomalies sometimes that do cause us to be able to have to deviate from what is, obviously the structured pricing, because like I said, this is all design build. Every single house in site is going to be custom. So sometimes stuff comes up and we work with that, but you'll have a relationship with us at that point in time, and we can work for the best solution to do that. So, following through, that site visit happens. And then again, after that, there's another appointment that you schedule for my schedule or on my calendar, which is our contracting and funding review meeting. And so we've basically set this entire system up for you to be able to set the pace exactly, to your comfort level. This isn't, that hard sale technique. We don't get anything from that. This is education, because what I've found in my experience and, the difference from being here versus past sales environments that I've been in is that it's not about who gets there first. It's about, you being able to actually know what makes sense for your site, because it's not, it's not the same as everybody else's. So what, we realize over at Distributed Power is that this can be a very long process. Some of you may have looked at solar before. Some of you might be talking about it seriously tonight for the very first time. And so we're definitely conscientious of that. And we want you to feel comfortable throughout the whole process. So, letting you set that pace is obviously, that's a big priority for us. That being said, I think it's been a month maybe since we started our Solarize Ann Arbor program, a little bit of the analytics on that. We had 60 people that were subscribed to get the, either in-person video on the Zoom call or get the recording of it afterwards. So obviously there's a lot of, buy-in in Ann Arbor. They've been doing it for a few years. It takes a little while to get the momentum to that point. We have gotten 40 people who have actually out of that video call asked for the meeting. I've already been to meetings with roughly 30 of those people, been in calls with all of those folks, and we are up to 6 contracts today, and relatively fast for a sales cycle like that. Now, John, I see your question about new construction. That is something that we are actually, currently facing with a couple customers out of the Ann Arbor area. There are, definitely ways to be able to navigate that. When we talk about some of the, main kind of issues that we faced in that are, if you have blueprints, obviously that makes it very, a lot easier. We can design based on those blueprints on whatever the site is, rendering existing obstructions like trees, et cetera, other buildings that might, add shading and reduce the irradiance on the roof. And then we can account for what new appliances may be there and do, an analysis of that and set up what your anticipated consumption will be and design to that. Brandon, you can take it for a minute now. I kind of got a little carried away there.
We all do. No, you did great. I could add a couple, I guess, thoughts that sort of round out our approach. So I'm going to turn my little air conditioner off. So one of the things that we really like about this program is we've got some community organizing built into our for-profit company, but it's very mission-driven company, and we're highly concerned about creating jobs in the Detroit region and making sure that renewable energy jobs are being created. We also truly want you to benefit from this. And we work really hard. We've done a lot of projects and we've seen a lot of situations where a solar array helped somebody. And we've seen situations where a solar array didn't help a family too. So Our quest is to be providing a true solution. Now, the project that we're proposing is what's called a grid-tied solar array. And so there's a lot of different types of solar projects. We're going in with the assumption that we're on the same page, that we're going to hook up solar panels to an inverter or to a power conversion device, either microinverters or inverters, and then ultimately connect that to your home's electrical system, that we're going to power your house with the solar panels. And we're also going to sign you up for the DTE distributed generation program, so that when you overproduce solar, you are getting credits for that through DTE. And so Jack's process, what we're referring to is a collection of that utility data. And we use that utility data to start a design process and to start an education process with you. And we're going to be looking to see, how educated you are. And we'll play along with someone that's brand new, and we'll feel that out, see where you're at, and we'll begin the education process. On the other side, if you know what you want, and you're looking for competitive bids, we'll also give you a competitive bid. And then if you want to design something more extensive, what we would call integration with a battery bank or energy storage system that could either back up your entire home or back up a part of the home. If you want to integrate an electric vehicle charger, if you're interested in electrical upgrades that need to be done to the home, if you're concerned about your roof, if you're looking for the roof to be done before the solar panels go on the roof, these are all things that we've seen it all, and we've tried to see it all so that we could serve our community. So that's what this is. We want to engage every person. We want it to be empowering, and we want you to have good experience with solar. We're competitive, and we're definitely, sales is part of driving a business, but there's a right and wrong way to do that. And we have a lot of experience with that. And Jack's learned, how to run the process the right way. So we want it to be a good process from the beginning. And community organizing is, in our opinion, one of the right ways to start this conversation. So that's my piece. We'd love to partner with community and throughout Livonia, and with the city, and with GLREA, and be a partner and deploying more solar than ever has been deployed in Livonia. That's the point of this, is we want to increase the kilowatts that are being installed and start a movement. So yeah, I'll pass it back to Jack, and that's my 2 cents.
Very good. Thanks, Brandon. So first things first, I'm going to jump into Jeremy's question in the chat. And guys, if you want to use the raise hand, if you want to throw a question just directly into the chat, whatever way to be able to get into these details is great. So Jeremy first, and then Mike, and then Peter. All right, you guys are lining up. I like it. So I have an old roof. What I need to that redone before adding solar. Now, there is a certain point, I believe, if you have, maybe a few years left on that roof, that we would start to recommend maybe it's time to do that project first. If you have like 5 to 7 years left on that roof, it might not necessarily be lucrative for you to do that right away. The solar in some instances can, it'll protect the roof from a lot of different elements. Now, depending on what your insulation situation is like, another roofer can actually guide you through that process. But what I would say is, if you're looking into the crystal ball of what I anticipate to happen in the market, and this is just going to be speculation right now, I think there are more installers that are coming into this field. I believe that roofers, and I'm seeing this trend happen in front of me, roofers are starting to gravitate towards adding solar into their scope. And I think that's a logical companionship for them to do that, to, kind of partner with electricians, but also have a lot of that hardwired DC stuff getting done by the actual roof installers makes a lot of sense. And that's why we've been seeing that happen with a few of our crews. Now, what I mean by that and what that all means unpacked is that the prices of, having that entire solar array disassembled and taken down and then reinstalled is not going to be, prohibitive costs down the line. The solar weight is going to be actually 3 pounds per square foot, Jim. So that's that. We typically see this cost being, maybe this is going to be something that's wrapped in with the, possible to be wrapped in with a roofing contract as time goes on. If you're in a situation where you know that your roof needs to be replaced right now, though, which may be just your situation, Jeremy, and that's kind of where we're coming from, we can provide you with a quote. We have install crews that, do roofing. That's something that's definitely really possible for us to, provide to you. Again, with this and all of these things, we recommend get other quotes. There's no reason for you not to be informed and not to be educated about this. We don't have a problem with that. Generally, the fact that you're having the conversation is, I think, a really, a great thing. I hope that answered, the question in the overall part. There does seem to be kind of a lot of traffic right now, so I'm going to move on. Mike.
Yeah, thanks. That was actually my exact question. So about the roof, so I'm going to morph it slightly. Is there if I'm getting a new roof, is there a specific type of roof that is better or more compatible with solar? Like, should I consider a metal roof or something along those lines, or anything?
If you're looking at metal for the option, for this, we can install on metal, we can install on asphalt, and it is really the same for us. I would look at, the warranties and see if any of them, when you're looking at products, are going to be affected by what we install. Generally, our install on both of these, I feel really confident in them. We have feet that go onto these roofs that are, different depending on what the actual substrate is, what the roof surface material is made out of. But, I would say, looking at that, there's not going to be something that's more ideal for us than the other. And again, I can get into and will get into, the specific brands that we use with anybody, one-on-one when we get into that. But, talk to the roofers that you're working with. If you want to, look at one versus the other and see if they're, going to have an issue with it. But know that we, with most everything that we install on the roof, there's a significant warranty, no leak. I believe Iron Ridge flash footing is going to be 20 years. I can't speak to off the top of my head what the footing is, or what the warranty on the footing for our metal roofs is, but it's all, there's a reason why we work with it, and it's all really user friendly and it all works, right? Thanks, Mike. Peter.
Hi, thanks. So I heard, I talked to someone actually who got a quote through the Ann Arbor buy, and they told me that the amount of capacity that they could put on the roof to some extent is governed by the utility, and they don't want to install more than your current annual consumption would be. Is that right?
Yes. John, sorry, no.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Peter, if you have more question, then that's totally fine.
So I guess tied into that question, tied into that bit of information, if you foresee doing projects to electrify your home over the next, say, five or so years, EV chargers, say, electric heat pump, something like that, and you see your energy consumption going up, would you be able to convince DTE to allow a larger system, based on potential future usage?
Typically, what we're going to need to see for us to expand into, above that 100% rate is going to be receipts. That's what they're going to want. They're going to want to see hard numbers. Now,
So you would have had to have purchased something already.
yeah, that being said, it's relatively easy to work with this down the line, right? Expanding on the system that you've already gotten, that's something that we could definitely do. I would say, obviously, if you're looking at adding a couple panels down the line, maybe your concern is that you're not necessarily feeling super secure around the tax credit, right? So let's just say we're looking at anticipation of losing that tax credit, and you don't want to expand that system or have those other electrical upgrades and that other electrical capacity added till 2024, when there's slated to be no tax credit. Now, I wouldn't be concerned, because the bulk of this price is going to be on, this whole install and all of that. We do a lot of add-ons with people.
Okay.
We really work with systems that are modular in that way. And I think Brandon kind of touched on this, and I hope I, made that clear too, which is, you could start with the system, and as long as we know that we're working on a plan, something that is supposed to be expanding as time goes on, we definitely do that with people, and we install panels in such a way frequently as to, accept a larger system down the line and anticipate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Brandon's in the chat here. That's great. Anybody else? Got about 10 minutes left. Oh, okay. Carrie?
Hi, so I have a question about cost, and that is, I realize everyone's different, and that, there's a difference between getting it energy that puts back in the system versus, a battery where you're conserving yourself. But for just like the baseline, if you want it on your house to kind of go back into the system, you're not doing the battery component, let's say, what is a general cash only range that you would say for, a moderate size range? This is quite asking. My neighbor couldn't be on the call, and that was her question, because she tried to do the calculator, and it had for like a 4% payment plan or something. So just trying to figure out what the financing and costs looks like.
So it's a nuanced question. And it's going to be really tough to answer, because, there are kits that we can sell, and there's certain baseline just size systems. Generally speaking though, I think, we don't even know necessarily that the top of a certain system is something that we could do. So I'm struggling with this because I want to.
What would you say what is the least that you've done a house for versus what's the average? Maybe is that an easier way to answer it?
Well, we have, so the market is regulated by a term called price per watt for the solar array. So I'll put that in the chat. And that's a way to sort of like compare different installers. And so I think previously we were looking at the different rates. So let's say that the smallest system that people would usually do is somewhere around $10,000, cash, and then you'd have a 26% tax credit on that. And that would be in our program, once we get up to the amount of people we have, so we're at so that's over a 3.5 kilowatt system. Once we achieve our 10 homes we're looking for, so nearly 4 kilowatts. And then the way that would kind of scale is it'd be 8 kilowatts would be about 20 grand, and just kind of incrementally go up like that. Now, what you have a lot of solar sales companies right now that are actually pitching you a loan that's really what they're selling you. And we've gone through that as a company, and we went through that era of, these different online marketing schemes that have been very effective to, offer people, especially the last couple of years, easy money, construction loans, 25-year loan products, 30-year loan products, bill swap concepts, where you're going to pay off your loan payment instead of the solar array. A lot of really fast contracts, out of control projects that we're trying to get away from. So, when you go into these calculators online, we don't always know if you have a marketing program that's pitching you some nonsense, or if it's Google Sunroof has a lot of limitations. So the leveling field is price per watt. That's the term that would sort of even the playing field. And once you get into different manufacturers of different equipment, or, all these different things that you could do, that's the standard term. And that would be for what we would say a solar edge or end phase system. So a solar edge or end phase, they carry with them module level power electronics that allow you to achieve rapid shutdown rules for fire code with no other bells or whistles. And that would be sort of the standard, solar array that people get that are grid tied, is it has the rapid shutdown feature already built in. If you have Wi-Fi, you're going to be able to monitor it. You're going to get a turnkey agreement to have your interconnection application for DTE and your permits completed for the array. Now, when you look at what John was proposing earlier, a 281 per watt system with the tax credit. Sorry to take over, Jack. I'll shut up in a minute. But so we had it at, that would almost be about $2.08 a watt after tax credit, after the tax credit, for the scale we're hoping to achieve here in Livonia.
So then, Brandon, if you said that a 4 kilowatt system is kind of typical size, then that would be 4,000 watts. So it'd be 4,000 times $2.08 per watt. So we're looking at $8,000 or so for a 4 kilowatt system as a ballpark price. Does that seem about right?
With the tax credit in there. Now, one thing that we're going to be more stringent and specific on, because we also we know what hurts us as a business and basically causes us to be in situations where we are not doing good business for ourselves or really for our clients because we overpromise and underperform. But if your electric system is not up to code, or if there's things that we need to address at the home in order for the solar array to be achieved, that's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily, a lot of times there's nothing, but a lot of times we've given away things. We've done so many projects, been in so many situations, and it's been a killer for us when we've overlooked electric code violations, or so we're pretty good at that stuff, but we're all we try to be honest about that. But we're not going to give you a free main service panel upgrade and upgrade your riser to 200 amps and do all these. But riser is your connection, that's your main service connection to the utility, but we're going to flag that early, and we don't want to have any gotchas. It's not what we're looking for either. We also know the pain of a gotcha is not good for any family. So yeah. Now, someone's asking about electric requirements. For the most part, DTE allows for a service side tap without a lot of bureaucracy. So most of the time, even if you have a 100 amp service, which would be a smaller service, we can still get a larger solar array hooked up to that system without having to do a lot of electric upgrades. So, so yeah, we're gonna, you know, just to answer some of the questions coming through, what we're definitely gonna, well, when you talk about you know, taking in the electrical system of your house, we're not going up to the bedrooms and checking the outlets. You know, we're really concerned about the service from DTE and just making sure that your meter's not falling off the wall, and we don't promise to do something that, you know, is visibly wrong, or, you know, we've seen people shave wire down to get it to fit on lugs. You know, I mean, Livonia doesn't have, you know, I mean, it's a lot of oversight over the construction in Livonia, so we expect the electric systems to be in really good shape. But just, oh yeah, the fundamentals of the solar array is true to what we're talking about, and we're gonna definitely evaluate the home. Jack likes to do an intro call similar to this before we head over, get you involved, have you looking at some of this stuff, have you taken pictures for us. You know, before we even come out, we want to, you know, see your electric panel, see the meter, have you understand what that stuff is and get familiar if you want to. If this is annoying, we'll skip all that and we'll just get you your quote. We know people like that too, and we're happy to do that. If you want the full education, we'll go along for the ride, you know, all the way through. If you just want us to, hey, Brandon, Jack, I don't want all that to like just do it, you know, yeah. We're good with that too.
Okay, we have Brandon, we have Todd who's had his hand up for a bit. Todd, go ahead and ask your question.
Sorry about that. I had put some stuff in the chat, but basically, I know you have talked about a 25-year degradation curve, and I understand that to mean that the performance of the panel starts at one rate and gradually over time, that 25 years, it's going to fall off some. That's expected behavior. Does the system that gets installed, is there a way to monitor the panel output so that you know when you're starting to near the end of that useful life in the panels and may need to be replaced? Or
yeah, definitely. So Todd, when we do a system, typically what you're going to have is, and Brandon was speaking to this earlier, there's this component that goes underneath the panel and it's going to have a 25-year warranty on it. This is in 2 different systems. This will be there, and this is going to be providing generally this will be the rapid shutdown feature. Now, this panel level power electronic equipment also does monitoring, and this is standard for, you know, roof mounted solar arrays in residential, you know, houses. In larger arrays, we just install maybe that rapid shutdown feature, but being able to have this component can do a lot of different things for you. A string inverter system will not have anything in between each panel. If there is, you know, partial shading, if there's damage to one of the panels, then the entire system will underperform. So we have with SolarEdge's product line an optimizer. This optimizer is going to, you know, give you panel level analytics. It's going to circumvent underperforming panels, and it's going to provide that rapid shutdown feature. So you will have analytics from panel to panel that's going to make our service calls a lot more efficient, a lot better. We're going to be able to know what's going on the site before, you know, you call us about it. That's, you know, a huge perk as well. When we work with, you know, these systems, you know, we definitely have to. There's a reason why we work with the brands that we do, and it's because when it comes down to actually getting out there, repairing this stuff, you know, which isn't always, but if it does, you know, come up, we want it to make sense and we want it to be, you know, effective, because we're going to, you know, have a labor warranty on the job for 10 years. And obviously there's a, you know, variety of different warranty levels for different power electronic components. But yes, you have that, panel level monitoring. And then obviously the centralized inverter or combiner panel is going to be able to show you, what you're using. Now there's a product from DTE that they will actually offer to you, the Energy Bridge, which can give you, more analytics on your phone. Now this is a product that my understanding of this product is that it is free, or at least a very significantly reduced cost. It connects, wirelessly through the Wi-Fi network it connects with your meter, and allows you to be able to actually see that whole site inflow, outflow, and that can be, something that's pretty interesting to be able to look at as well. With standard install, we don't provide site monitoring for the inflow outflow, but we do, you'll have that analytics, and there's an app which can give you quite a bit of insight as well.
So it's 8 o'clock, 8:05 actually, and we thought we'd just go about an hour. Are there any final questions that people want to ask either myself or Brandon or Jack?
Well, in case you do think of one, I'll just throw on, Jack, I really appreciate you putting your email in the group. That's jack@distributedpower.net. So if you scroll through the chat, you'll see that. So if folks, I do see 2 hands going up, but just in closing, if folks do want to use the email that's provided to email, they certainly can feel free to do so.
Jack, can you just post it again one more time?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
If you left and rejoined, you can't see the history. So
yeah,
chat history.
Yep, I just took care of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. So yeah,
We do have one final hand up.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah, Zobel MacBook. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I guess the question I had around, it kind of sounds like, well, we would get a discount based on the volume of people that sign up. How will that work? Like, because you'd mentioned, I think hoping for 10 people. If we're the first, if we're person number 1, how do we know what's the time window? Is it the entire city of Livonia that gets lumped into that?
The way that we've handled it in the past is we'll build in an addendum on the back end. So it'll be generally a payment schedule with these types of things. And, unless you do financing, but what we'll do is, potentially maybe just recommend that you hold off for a little bit. Sometimes when we can tell there's a lot of traction in the program, we can kind of anticipate that, and we might just work with it and anticipate that cost being the price per watt that we see at 10. Now, in the past, when we definitely don't necessarily see that momentum, we that's a good one, Peter. So we will look at that final payment that you might make and say that there's like a high and low of what that would look like. So I think if we're we'll just it'll be something that's kind of determined based off of walking away from this meeting. And walking away from, if you guys if you have people, like John said, get your friends, get your family, get them to, set up another meeting. You're going to get a video of this and send that out to people. Let's, you can get more momentum built into this group, and you can get, people who might be interested in at least sending the video on to other folks. We see these things make a big impact. So I would say, we definitely work for it, but it's going to be based off of, tomorrow or something in the next week or so. I'm going to see my inbox kind of start filling up with, utility bills from the Livonia folks, people who, you guys can email me, identify yourself as having been on this meeting, and we'll get in there. I already have, generally like 2 or 3 people that are out of Livonia that I've just been working with in anticipation of this program starting. They're going well. I'm just gearing them to be part of this program. They'd have no knowledge of this. They're doing it of their own volition, but there's already people that are showing, I have a meeting, I believe tomorrow, with somebody who we're on the contracting phase. We've done the site visit. We've done that. There's already one person in the group before this meeting was ever held. So that's just, that's how we generally do this. And Brandon's right when he says we just always kind of anticipate and hope for hitting that minimum. That's something that, we're definitely going to need your guys' help to make that happen. But yeah,
So
great.
So the bottom line is that over the next few weeks, a month, I mean, Brandon put 2 months in there. If people commit to getting solar, then that will count towards the group buy, and then we'll get the discount. So, okay, Jim, you got a final comment? Then we'll let Brian wrap it up.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who participated this evening. Great discussion, great questions. As Jack mentioned, he did post his email address. So to get the ball rolling, if you want to set up your initial meetings, and if I recall, Jack, that's a critical first step is getting your email address to Jack, and then that will get the educational process rolling for you on this as well. As John mentioned, this meeting has been recorded. If you know other people that are interested in solar, share that with your neighbors, your friends in the Livonia community, and then encourage them to reach out to Jack directly to begin the process of evaluating residential solar energy for their homes. So again, thanks to everybody.
Brian?
Awesome. Yeah. Hard to follow up a thank you with another thank you, but want to thank John for attending and giving a wonderful presentation. I want to thank Jack and Brandon for being available and to all of the Livonia neighbors. So thank you. Have a wonderful Tuesday evening, and looking forward to rolling out solar in Livonia.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.